Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. Thanks so much for joining me. It is a hot day yesterday, hot day today, and record heat should peak tomorrow and Wednesday. The records continue to fall. We'll go into the contextual details as we go through our 20-minute weekly chat. This time it's a holiday edition instead of our regular Sunday sunset chat. AP Blake, thanks so much for joining from Twitter. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. My latest forecast at CWG.news/latest. That is our PM update. As you can see, the forecast here at a glance continues to sizzle through the end of the week. Today we set new high temperatures at all three airports. They all broke their previous records. The hottest air of 2023 so far waited until September. We had 98 at both DCA and IAD, Dulles and National Airport, and also BWI. The hot spot today was 99 degrees. I think Inner Harbor, Baltimore also got to 100 degrees today. Good evening, David. Happy Labor Day, Kristen. Thanks so much for tuning in, both of you from Facebook. All right, let's go through how the week is set up with the atmosphere. We've got, let's keep this slide so you can see the record highs in context of all this red colored, warmer than normal air, higher atmospheric column. As we go into the end of the week, we kind of shrink the atmosphere a little bit, indicative of a slight cool down, but it might take until Friday, especially Saturday and Sunday. We've got to get a big cold front through here at the surface, but the atmosphere, as you can see from this animation, is favoring warmer conditions more than not throughout much of our continent. So with the record highs will continue again to really be amplified tomorrow and Wednesday. Hopefully that is the peak, and we cool off. We'll start getting less hot Thursday and then a little bit more Friday. The high temperatures are, let's see, let me keep that up and look at the slideshow for you. With Tuesday's temperatures being like Wednesdays are near to 100 degrees, can't be ruled out. Heat index values near 105 can't be ruled out in a couple hottest and most humid spots. But the cold front slowly approaches Friday, Saturday into Sunday. Yes, it gives us a higher rain chance by Thursday, and especially into the weekend. Can't even rule out a couple hit or miss raindrops on Wednesday late into Wednesday night. But the good news is that we get a cold front in here to kind of crush this heat wave as we get toward the end of this week into the weekend. All right, so let me keep up the record high context over the next couple of days. This is hopefully Tuesday and Wednesday, the peak of our heat wave in the DC area, in the mid-Atlantic. It is hot. Please stay safe. There's some good safety tips here. Mindfully hydrate. Wear lightweight clothing, light colored clothing. Seek shade and AC when possible. Check on those who are not able to acclimate and adjust themselves as much. That includes animals, senior citizens, humans, and those who have to work outside. Please keep an eye on those around you in the coming days. Hello, Peter. Thanks so much for tuning in from Facebook. And not terribly humid in Baltimore. I'll go into, in a moment, the dew point scale. Actually, let's do it now. And just keep in mind, we do have the DC heat emergency in effect through Thursday, I believe, from Mayor Bowser. The cooling centers are open in downtown DC. Some of them are open 24 hours. And this is a good way, her activation of this has been a good way to access heat mitigations resources throughout the region. All right, so let's talk about drought and dew point at the same time. The comfort level this week could be worse, right? We could have dew points over 70 degrees, which is in the muggy and unpleasant territory, but it's only sticky and unpleasant, staying at or below 70 degrees this week. So we don't have a heat index that's too dangerous, but I do think a heat advisory is possible tomorrow and or Wednesday as our heat really surges and peaks this week. But luckily, we are keeping dry-ish air and dry soil around this combo. These both being dry, the air and the soil, allows us for the air temperatures to get a little bit warmer than sometimes even the forecast models can forecast and model into the future and prognosticate. David, indeed, these are the hottest days of the year. 2023, the heat really waited, tied at Dulles for the hottest of the year yesterday and today. But hi, Carol. It has indeed been a hot one. It is the hottest era of the year thus far at 2 of our 3 airports, indeed. Leslie, hi. Thanks so much for tuning in. Julia, appreciate you tuning in from Facebook and YouTube. We've got David. We did indeed break some record. Chad is sweating. That's a good emoji. Chad, we do need some rain, indeed. That is true. And I appreciate your kind words, Leslie. And we've got, let's see, Steve. Let's see if I have your comment here. Can't wait for the return of fall weather. We're going to talk about maybe some change in the pattern coming up this weekend into next week. Indeed, crunchy and dry in the soils, Paul, around maybe this weekend, some mitigation with some rains moving in. Indeed, Chad, we had some wind gusts near 20 miles per hour today. It helped take the edge off the heat and the humidity. Rick, rain this Saturday is possible. And David, indeed, let's work on some raindrops, not necessarily sourced from the tropics just yet, but we'll keep an eye on that as we go through our slides here. Let me just give you the tropical update. It is active, but nothing is heading our way at this time. The next named storm would be Lee in the tropical Atlantic. If we do see one of these disturbances at the peak here of hurricane season, right around September 10th, that is the typical climatological peak of Atlantic hurricane season. So we are watching and continue to expect an active tropical Atlantic this time of year. Indeed, Charlene, we covered at CapitalWeatherGang.com that fireball last night. You were near where it entered the atmosphere there in south central Pennsylvania, Glenville, Pennsylvania. Now here's what's interesting. The next pattern change for next week could bring us, with a slight probability, leaning above average precipitation. Temperatures are actually leaning with decent probability of being below average. And that brings me to a point that our averages this time of year are low to mid 80s. So we could be maybe a little bit cooler than that on a couple days next work week. But that's also how remarkable we are seeing this heat wave. It's around 15, if not a little more, degrees hotter than average this time of year. My PM update right there at CWG.news/latest heat tracker. I've attempted to update it. We've had at least 27 days so far this year of 90 or hotter. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, you can go to CWG.news/X there as well, and CWG.news/YouTube. Thanks for following on all three of our social media channels. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. Let me know on Twitter if you have anything. AP Blake, any other comments or questions? Brian, Southern Hoco, Howard County, 100 degrees there. Thanks, Brian, for that report. And indeed, we could see 100-degree readings still being challenged on our thermometers tomorrow and through Wednesday. Those are the peak 2 days. Thursday should go a little bit off peak heat, but mid-upper 90s can't be ruled out. On Thursday as well. We've just really got to get that cold front in here. That's at the end of the week going to bring us some rain chances, maybe an outside chance of a couple raindrops Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday nights, but really I think the rain chances are going to wait until Thursday. And then we go up another step in rain chances a little higher on Friday. This weekend, sorry if you have outdoor plans, but we need the rain enough. I think most of us will take, in the give and take of things, we could see an inch or so of rain before all is said and done by the time you talk to me next in parts of the region along the I-95 corridor. So that is some good news because we are remaining in droughts. And I think I've had unconfirmed reports that Winchester City might even be conserving water because of that dark orange area right nearby Winchester. That is severe drought, level 2, D2 drought that has developed there. So we're watching the water table, even though DC technically itself is not in drought at this time. The upstream areas around Winchester, Frederick County, Harpers Ferry, they are all so dry that if you've been around the Beltway portion of the Potomac River, you've noticed lower water levels there as well. So that is something we've also covered this past week at CapitalWeatherGang.com. Please check out our coverage there, or WashingtonPost.com/weather. Dew points there in the lower left corner kind of help you with some context as to why it's able to get so warm this week. Why we're thinking near 100 degrees or above 100 degrees, around 100 degrees as possible over the next couple of days. Two things: the soil is dry and the air is not very moist either. We generally are seeing dew points in the mid 60s. I think you'll admit it could be a lot muggier this time of year. The National Weather Service is waiting for maybe a little increase in the humidity as we get toward the middle part of this week before maybe issuing a heat advisory. We did have heat index values 101, 102, 103 today, adding a few degrees on top of the air temperatures, which were kind of in the upper 90s for the most part. A couple hundred degree readings from you and your weather stations. I appreciate these reports. But The dry air this week kind of gives us a drier air than normal. It's kind of moderate humidity in the 60s for dew points, so we could, avoid the most oppressive type heat that sometimes accompanies these heat waves when they're above 100 degrees. So droughts and dry-ish air for this time of year are what's going for some of the hotter temperatures. It enables the sun to heat the air much more readily and rapidly. All right, so let me show you that the DC heat emergency is still in effect. Record highs were broken today and will probably be broken again tomorrow. Please check on any pets or family and friends who don't have air conditioning over the next few days. It is going to be hot. Call 311 if you are in downtown DC and see someone that needs help or needs a cooling center. We've got, let's see, also this animation kind of showing you the general pattern of above average heights in the atmosphere, which usually correlate to warmer conditions on the surface. Let's see, we've got some comments coming in. Wow, you had a low of 50 degrees a couple mornings ago, Brian. You've had quite a switch in 50 degrees in between your low and high in the last couple of days there in Howard County. Tom, you're most welcome. Thanks for tuning in from Facebook. Wow, Eric, you had 99 in the valley today. Luray was 48 Saturday morning and 99 today. Very dry indeed. That's a really good point. The swings from even each day's low temperature to high temperature, the diurnal difference from sunrise to sunset is going to be larger and wider when we have drier soils and dry-ish air this time of year. It could be, dew points could be near and above 70, but so far they are not, thank goodness. David, I think DC could hit 100 degrees. It's our best chance of the year to see a 100-degree reading. And let's see, we've got Wild Chat, I'm sorry to hear your well is drying out there in Washington County. Lori, the class you teach at Georgetown tomorrow has no AC. If it's before, if it's in the morning hours, you could sneak by, but overall, if it's an afternoon class, the daytime highs are generally kind of 3:30 to 5:30, but it's going to be pretty uncomfortable anytime mid to late afternoon tomorrow. Maybe a Zoom is recommended instead of baking all of you and broiling in that classroom. All right, so I'm sorry, Lewis, you're working with a steam cleaner in concrete parking lots. I'm sorry you'll indeed not be having fun. Do seek shade when you can. Drink some ice water. Take breaks in maybe your car air conditioning when you can. Eat a quick meal or take a break. Schools, Emma Joy, hopefully are working their air conditioning. I have not heard any reports of any school-related delays or closings or early closings as well. Early dismissals. Josh, you're hey from Disney. I'm sure it's humid down there right now. And Rick, is it the last heat wave of the year? I don't want to promise anything. We've had hot conditions into middle October at times, but what's interesting about this heat wave, it is the hottest of 2023 thus far. So if it could be argued, we're skewing kind of the hottest air of the year into September. Could we still see some 90-degree readings in October? I think it's a fair bet overall, but we'll keep you posted on our October outlook as we get closer toward that month. Paul, indeed, wow, you had a 102-degree reading there in Purcellville. And let's see, Baltimore schools, Ann is reporting, and Sawyer, you're reporting that they're without AC and closing early for the smaller kids. Second grade and up will be virtual. That's a great piece of information. Thank you. Mel, only the fireball last night is what we covered on CapitalWeatherGang.com, so do check that out. We were very happy to get all of your content last night, all your videos, but we have even more graphics for you, Mel, and more context on that fireball last night around 9 p.m. I believe between Maryland and Pennsylvania along the Mason-Dixon line. All right, so here's your forecast at a glance with the record highs here, my PM update there at CWG.news/latest. You can go to that link directly or go to CapitalWeatherGang.com anytime you need us. I'm Camden Walker doing our weekly chat. This is a holiday Monday edition when we normally talk on our weekly Sunday Sunset Lives. I appreciate talking to you all. I don't think we have any more Monday holidays this year, but all is good. I'm glad to talk to you all after my 8-day break or so. David saw the fireball last night. Temps like this in September. You worry about winter, Lori. Well, we'll give you our winter outlook as we get closer to Halloween and Thanksgiving. But I would say, rest assured there's no direct correlation yet on September temperatures to how the winter temperatures could fare. So keep that in mind. There's no really direct correlation as it stands now, but we'll of course keep investigating kind of medium to long-term climate models as we get closer to winter for you. Kevin's reporting the pond is got barely any water next to your subdivision. I don't doubt it. Especially, let's look at the drought areas west and northwest of town. Let's see, we've got the drought zoom in right here for you, especially around Winchester. I've got unconfirmed reports they're doing some water conservation efforts around Frederick County there in northwestern Virginia. And this is the dry soils are definitely a contributing factor why we're getting so warm every day when there's no soil moisture. The energy from the sun, instead of hitting the soil and working off some of the upper soil's moisture molecules, it instead, when it encounters dry soil, it bounces right back into the air, the infrared rays that heat our soils and air. So with dry soils, the infrared energy goes directly more quickly into heating our air temperatures, and you're going to notice broader temperature swings between low temperatures at sunrise to high temperatures near sunset each day. There'll be a wider range of temperatures thanks to a lack of soil moisture. And here's the dew point scale, which you could say it's dry-ish this week with kind of mid to upper 60s for dew points. So while not oppressive humidity, and we're thankful for not seeing heat index values of around 105 or hotter just yet, we might see those reach later this week. We could see some heat advisories issued, but until then, kind of drier-ish dew points in the middle 60s are another contributing factor to why we're able to see, with dry air, dry-ish air, and drier soils, a larger temperature range and hotter high temperatures on the thermometer anyway, as we get into the peak of this heat wave tomorrow and Wednesday. All right, so let me quickly put up the forecast at a glance for you. My latest forecast there at CWG.news/latest. I'm on the air another 3 minutes or so. Camden Walker for WashingtonPost.com/weather. The heat wave peaks this week, record highs yesterday, today. More will come tomorrow. BWI was the hot spot at 99 degrees today. Inner Harbor, I believe, hit 100 degrees in Baltimore. And so I think our record highs will be broken tomorrow. So does most of, I think, everyone I've heard from on the CapitalWeatherGang.com team. And we could see 100 degrees threatened again for Wednesday. And hopefully just a hair less on Thursday. Maybe we stop in the mid to upper 90s with kind of past peak heat for this heat wave on Thursday. We should cool off, in quotes, to around 90 degrees or so maybe on Friday, and then 80s likely this weekend with higher rain chances as we get to the end of the week and the weekend as well. Charlene, thanks so much. You're looking forward to that rain. I am too. Kristen, thanks so much for tuning in. And Julia, indeed, I will be seeing you on Monday, October 9th for Indigenous and / Columbus, formerly known as Columbus Day. That's a very good point. That's another Monday holiday coming up. Let's see, we've got, hopefully, some David wants some winter coming before long. And Carol, you're most welcome. Thanks so much for tuning in. All right, so let's see. I'm going to run through a couple things for you in the next couple minutes before I go off the air. I've got a lot for you that I want to give you context to this heat wave. First off, we've got the atmosphere just generally in a warm pattern. Higher heights, taller atmosphere, usually here at the surface, means warmer temperatures. As indicated here in the red shading, we'll see a little break there with the lighter blue colorings that kind of get pressed out there at the end of the week, but at least we'll take it. We'll kind of get back toward average with those blues moving into our region at the end of this week with the broader circulation pattern. Here's kind of a quick animation of temperatures this week. Watch that cold front moving in from the northwest, slowly marching toward us by the end of the week, kind of getting our temperatures finally away from 100. Hopefully by Thursday, 90 degrees may be a high temperature cap on Friday, and then 80s for the weekend. This great hazard slide by the National Weather Services has some great tips for staying, safe and cool this week. There's some interesting info there on the last 100-degree day we've typically seen. We're kind of maybe challenging some of these. This is already the hottest air we've seen in 2023. It waited for Labor Day weekend and into this week for some reason, just delayed but not denied summer. But please indeed watch your pets this week. Check on family and friends who are less able to find air conditioning. And don't forget, DC has cooling centers available, and call 311 if anyone needs help getting to a cooling center this week. Through Thursday, actually, the cooling centers will be available. The droughts and the dew points are kind of the two D's I want to talk about, enabling with less moisture in the atmosphere through our dew point and less soil moisture at the surface. We are able to kind of get more sun's energy in the infrared band, kind of emphasizing heat into the air molecules of our atmosphere, boosting the high temperatures, even boosting the range of temperatures every day from low to high temperatures from between sunrise and sunset. It's kind of a twofold reason why we could see 100 degrees in our region for the first time in many years. It's been a while since we have seen 100 degrees in our region. So rain over the next 7 days, kind of a couple raindrops possible Wednesday, but Thursday through Sunday we could see an inch of rain accumulate by the time you talk to me next for a weekly Sunday sunset chat next week. Latest forecast there at my PM update at CWG.news/latest. At least 27 days we've had already of 90 degrees or hotter. Facebook, X, and YouTube. You can also go to CWG.news/X. Make sure you follow me and follow our team at CapitalWeatherGang.com and WashingtonPost.com/weather on all of our social media channels. And I will leave it at that. And have a great, safe week. Let me put back up this slide just so you have some good safety tips. Stay hydrated this week. Find AC when you can. Cool, lightweight clothing, light colored clothing. And I want to see all of you back here once we're past this heat wave this week. I'll talk to you next Sunday for a weekly Sunday sunset chat then. Thanks so much for tuning in, and just stay mindfully hydrated and really kind of take your time this week and stay safe.